bless you, everybody. So I'm not going to be before you long. I apologize for not coming on in such a long time. I have so many different things that I'm doing that God has wanted me to do. So I'm having a hard time juggling everything. But anyway, this is going to be a very short video. This is for those that are waiting to be married, waiting for their love story to unveil itself. Um, God is just saying that it's you've been doing like a lot of comparison. You've been doing a comparison to um, people in the Bible, like Ruth and Boaz, and you hear it a lot, especially on the woman's side of it. Where's my Boaz? Da, 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 da. And you gotta realize that we're not living in biblical times, so ain't nobody gonna tell you to go roll back some cover off of some man's feet and go lay on his feet or nothing like that. So you know, God is saying that you can't really compare how this new relationship that God is bringing. You can't really compare it to what has happened in the Bible, because you're not in the Bible days. You're not your father is not going to come and arrange a marriage or whatever. So it's different. And I think a lot of times what we do is we we um we mess up our own we mess up the plan of God for our marriages and for our lives and for our relationship, because we're looking for it to come one way, and it's actually going to come a different way that you didn't expect. And since it's not coming the way that you would expect it, you're kind of like, well, that can't be from God. And so some of you are going to really have to just zero in on what God is telling you about the man or woman of God that he's bringing. So, and for some of you, the man or woman of God that he's bringing may even be in seed form, meaning that he may not or she may not be to the point where, like, they are a believer, but they may not be as deep in the Lord as you are. And so, sometimes we hear that, you shouldn't be unequally yoked. It's not necessarily saying that you guys have to be on the exact same level in the Lord, but it says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So if the person is not a believer, then that's a deal breaker. Um, but just listen to what the Holy Spirit has to say about your particular situation. Stop looking at other people and how how their marriage began or how their dating courtship began. You really want to have to lean on God to tell you how to do this, because you hear so much about, well, you saved, so you can't date and you can't do this and you can't. Well, how else I'm supposed to get to know the person? How is she supposed to get to know the person? You have to do it in some kind of way. Okay, so I'm not saying to date or not to date, but I'm just saying, listen to the Holy Spirit on what he tells you what to do. Listen to how he tells you to break it down. And there's some times where you just like, well, God, I don't know how to do this. I've done everything before my way, and now, God, I have to do it your way. So show me, Lord, how to do this in a way that's pleasing unto you. But yes, that's what God was showing me. Um, that's what God was showing me through a dream, that basically that the way your this courtship, or whatever you want to call it, the way that this marriage is going to happen is you can't compare it to what you see to everybody else. You can't compare. You can't be like, well, it's gonna be like Esther. Da da da, and you can't do that. I'm gonna be. It's gonna be like Sarah and Abraham. Well, you know what? Sarah and Abraham were half brother and sister. So you can't compare it. You know what I mean? You can't like compare it. Now I get it. You can sometimes when you're teaching or whatever, and you want to make a point about godly marriages and stuff like that. There's things that you can take out of different Bible stories, but we're not living in Bible times. So you cannot go and say, you know what, girl, you know what you need to do? You gotta wait till he done threshing at the threshing floor, and you need to roll back the sheet or whatever he had on his feet, and then lay on his feet, and then in the morning, you know, it's not gonna work like that. So, you know, God is saying that He's gonna write a love story for you that is just it's not it's going to be the love story of insert your name, the story of I'm just going to make up names of Sally and Joe. It's not going to be a Ruth and Boaz story. It's not going to be Sarah and Abraham or Isaac and Rebecca. Unless God says, this man is going to come out like, you know it's going to be, unless God expressly tells you, it is going to be like a situation where, you know, somebody that's like a Rebecca type person is going to come, and she's going to basically water your camels, basically do some work for you or service you in such a way that, she didn't even realize that she was basically building up her own house, before it was her own house. So, unless God expressly tells you that, I'm just saying, you know, don't miss the blessing that God has for you, because you're looking for it to come in such a way that is someone else's story or some other Bible love story. You know, so just go by the leading of the Holy Spirit on and the Rhema word for what is, and I really feel that in my spirit. Like, it's got to be Rhema at this point, or if the words of the Bible is jumping off the page for you, and you know that God is trying to tell you something about this new relationship, then yes, then go with it. But it's got to be, you can't just be like, well, I'm just going to look at all the old Bible stories to find, to see how I can get, my husband or my wife or whatever. You have to go by the leading of the Holy Spirit. So you need to have your prayer life going, and you need to really, and then also look over all the things that God has told you about this future spouse. So, all right, guys. Well, I love you, and I wish everyone well. May God bless you.